Being a few days after the version 2.3 livestream and having Childe announced, I thought that I'd show a video about team comps that I personally use for the Spiral Abyss that work really well with Childe. Starting with team number 1. This team is vaulted around Childe being the main DPS, with Shogun being your sub DPS. The rotations I'll put up after the build. This team, you basically want to just use E with Childe, and then you want to switch into Bennett. As for how I built mine, I'm still grinding for the 4-piece Shimenawa set with a Thundering Pulse. As for your Raiden Shogun, you're gonna want to use Emblem of Severed Fate and try to get at least 200% ER. Now I'm going a little off the meta and not using Kuchisara as Noblesse. I'm using 4-piece Emblem for maximum burst damage. She hits really hard if you can actually get the crit though. And as for Bennett, I don't have 4-piece Noblesse on him either. I run him on 4-piece Witch with just a max attack weapon. As for how the cycles work for this team, I'll show you right now. This team's kind of harder to do in this current abyss because the enemies are really spread out. But start with Ball E and Childe E. And finish with a burst. Then you're gonna want a Bennett E, burst. Kuchisara E, burst. Swap to Ball. And after that, you're gonna want to just restart the whole thing. E, and then E to Childe, and vice versa. As for team 2, it's basically the same thing, but I swap out Kuchisara for Fischl. It's for more electro damage and more particles for Ball and the whole team. Her build is going to be as is shown right here. I run her on a 2-piece Thundering Fury, 2-piece Gladiator Final. I'm rocking the Verdicent Hunt because I don't have Skyward, and I don't have another spare of Stringless. And this team can even be run without C6 Fischl also, but C6 Fischl also helps a lot because the extra electro damage. And my talents are 11 on that. Now usually this team is more built for one bosses, but it also works surprisingly well with groups of enemies.
No time to lose.
The cycle is to start off
another test
like the last team with Raiden E, then Fischl, and Childe again.
Shouldn't let your guard down.
Teamwork is dreamwork. Shadow Raven, let night. Illusion shattered. Now you shall perish.
How's this? To the fairy.
Shine down. By royal decree.
Let's get down to
Everybody
business.
stand back. Midnight Phantasmagoria.
You can run. How's this?
Inazuma shines eternal.
To the fairy. What you've done.
As for our last team, it's a little bit more of a difficult one, seeing as there's no healer. I mean, unless you count Jingcho as sub heals, but this is more or less for maximum electrocharge damage without Kazuha. If you want to, you can swap Jingcho out for Bennett and just have these two as the proctors. Jingcho and Sukrose builds are as such. I'm running my Jingcho like this. Sacrificial Sword. Heart of Depth and Noblesse, because I haven't been able to get a good set of Emblem of Severed Fate. Constellation 6. This team works especially well if you have C2 with the Hydro Rest for Childe and Jingcho. C6 even more better for more damage. Talents 9, 9. As for Sucrose, I'm running Sacrificial Fragments. But I need to level it up, yeah. 4-piece VV for Elemental Shred. Constellation 6. Constellations aren't too important besides C1 and C6. C6 will give you the elemental damage bonus for the element that got swirled. This stacks with the VV set. And to be honest, these don't really need to get leveled up too much because you're not really going for the swirl damage. But it helps a lot though. Now, this team is interesting in the way that you want to do things. You want to start off with Fischl's E, and then throw your Sucrose in, as such.
By Royal Swirl, Mark
This.
2, Animal Test 6308. Stand clear, Animal Test 6. Ring Cutter. No, my sword.
Tidal wave. To the ferry. That tingle. Brace yourself. This is gonna hurt.
Absorption Test.
Little taste.
Animal Test 6308.
I got careless.
Witness the power of Gurwa. Time to act. Enhanced Animal Monster. Shadow Raven. Lighten up.
Like blade. Couldn't let your guard down. Force is done. No time to...
Absorption Test. Animal Test 6308. Oz, reveal. Rain outlines your fate.
That'll be it for the team showcase, but I'll be just re-going over all the plans for the teams. So for this team, you're going to want to put down your Raiden's E first, then Fischl, then Tartaglia. Depending if you're running the 4-set Chiminao or the 4-set Heart of Depth, depends on how long you keep him on the field. It also depends if you have C1 Childe, because C1 Childe will let you use his E a lot more. But after that, you want to make sure to finish with his Burst, then swap in a Bennett Burst, Fischl Burst, and then Raiden Burst for this team. For the second team, same thing. Start off with Raiden E, then you're going to want to go into Childe, and use his E for about 10 to 15 seconds depending on your set. Then you're going to want a Bennett Burst after using Childe Burst. Kujosara E into her Burst. Swap out because the Burst gives you increased damage for Raiden Shogun's Burst. Then repeat the cycle. Then for this team, I always want to start off with Fischl E into Sucrose Burst. And then Jingcho Burst into 2 E's. Or 1 E if you don't have Sack Sword. And then into Tartaglia. Now for this team, if you don't want to run that, you can always add Beto to one of these teams. But I was just trying to go off more stuff that isn't on like the national team for Childe. But besides that, thanks for watching, and let me know if you want more guides in the future.